Aye.
Good evening or afternoon, everyone. We are convening the regular meeting of the board of the ALCOSAN people. This is May 18th, 2023. Calling this meeting to order. Can we have a roll call?
Darren Kelly,
Here.
Council President Teresa Kell-Smith,
Here.
Councilman Paul Klein,
Here.
Representative Emily Kincaid.
Here.
Mr. Harry Readshaw,
Here.
Sylvia Wilson,
Here.
and Dr. Shannon Tharp-Gilliam.
We can all rise. The door of the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We did hold an executive session prior to this public meeting and no votes were taken during that meeting. So we're going to move on to information items. Okay, there is no public comment. Thank you. All right, we will move to section B, 2023 capital budget status report. It is represented in Exhibit A. Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you. So this is the capital budget report for 2023, updated through May of this year, and we are at over $46 million spent, which is a lot for us. But as you know, a lot of that's going into the plant expansion and then the design costs for the Ohio River Tunnel. So they're summarized for you here. But if you had any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Seeing none. Move on to next item on C. 2020 operating costs and revenues compared to the budget as per attachment or exhibit B.
For 2023, as of the end of April, we were 33% of the year through, and as of that point in time, we had spent about 30% of our operating budget, and we had collected about 35% of our operating revenue. So we continue to operate in sound. Thank you.
It's very good to hear. Next, we have item D, which is the wet weather plant expansion construction progress update. Ms. Kennedy.
There we go. So thank you. I'm going to just give everybody a little update on what we have going on and what we're about to continue to have going on down here at the plant. The plant expansion, the wet weather plant expansion. The reason we're doing it is to increase our capacity, our primary treatment capacity to 600 million gallons per day, and our secondary treatment capacity to 295 million gallons per day. And these limits are in our consent decree. So this is all driven by our consent decree. And we do have two deadlines here in the consent decree with respect to the plant expansion, and that's 480 by 2025. Today we can treat 250 million gallons per day. So 480 million gallons per day by 2025 and 600 million gallons per day by 2029. And this is a nice drone image of the current construction here at the plant. shows our new pouring contact tank, the newest clarifier, and then all of the work here at the headworks, amongst other things. So we have the privilege of being in Pennsylvania that has the Separations Act. So for each of our, and ALCOSAN is a public owner, so we are required to adhere to the Separations Act. So that's why when we bring a contract, a recommended award for the larger plant projects, there's typically these 4 primes. So we've got the general, electrical, the HVAC, and the plumbing. So because of that, we have 24 contractors currently under contract at the site right now, which is a lot to manage. And we couldn't do it alone. So back in 2018, we procured the services of a plant expansion construction management team. The successful team back in 2018 was Michael Baker. And the Michael Baker team has these 10 sub-consultants made up of a mix of small businesses and the service disabled veterans. I will say that they are all very busy. It started a little slow for like the pre-construction awards, but then once we moved into construction in 2020, it's just taken on substantially. So here is our plant expansion. This is everything. This is what we're required to do to get up to the 600 million gallons per day. These are the 3 projects that we've completed to date. So we've completed the flow meters in the main pump station, the rising mains of the main sewage pumps. We've completed and are using the temporary hypochlorite storage and feed system, and then we have completed our parking garage. Right now, 2023, we have these 6 projects ongoing. So we have the electrical distribution system upgrade, which is a very important project. Make sure that the plant is ready and areas are freed appropriately for the way it's going to operate in the future. We've got the environmental compliance facility, which will help house our lab and our industrial waste folks behind the parking garage. The East Headworks, which you can't miss. The CSO bypass, the return activated sludge pipe and pump replacements, and then of course, you can forget the North End plant expansion that makes all the photos. So these are the 6 that we have right now. Next year in 2024, we will, this year, RAS, the return activated sludge and electrical distribution system will finish in 2023. But in 2024, we'll add the solid thickening project that will include centrifuges, which we approved the pre-purchase of, I think last month, or maybe this month. So in 2024, the only thing that will end in 2024 is the environmental compliance facility, and we'll add the thickening. In 2025, we'll have 4 projects finished in 2025. The North End facilities, the CSO bypass, the East Headworks, and the thickening will finish in 2025, but we'll start construction on the wet weather pump station, which is going to be our largest plant expansion project. So as you can see here, this note, the next 3 or 4 years will be the busiest of the plant expansion project programs. And then in 2026 and beyond, the everything else will finish. We'll continue to work on the wet weather pump station. Will be a multi-year construction project. And then we will add the 2 primary set tanks that'll be added onto our primary sedimentation tanks. And then we'll also put in upgrade of our effluent flushing water system. I do want to say that we are going to be moving into the design, which is the only project that isn't in design yet is the primary set tanks. And that RFQ will be released next Wednesday. So that is it for the design of the wet weather plant expansion. So yeah, I'd just like to spend a couple more slides talking about the importance of the construction management team. They act as agents on behalf of ALCOSAN out there and all 24 of these active contracts. They are responsible for the administration of the individual projects. They're inspectors. You know, the benefit of these inspectors is that they bring diverse technical backgrounds for whatever is going on at any particular time. And they're concentrated on safety. They work well with the ALCOSAN Safety Department, and continue to make that a priority when we're forecasting work and look aheads and all the other things that we do on a daily basis for this work. So the on-site staff sort of is made up of these folks on that big team, you know, Baker plus the 10 subs. But right now, for the 6 projects we have ongoing, we have 3 resident engineers and 12 inspectors. We would expect that to ramp up over the next couple of years as we add more projects, but don't take away any really until 2025. The other thing is that the construction manager has a project schedule for every single one of these contracts. And this is just 1-page snippet of a 32-page schedule that they manage for each of the projects. And there's obviously we have to maintain operations. And so it's a tight space. There's a lot of coordination between projects, and we have to hold them to these schedules because they're concentric schedules, and there's a lot at stake. The other thing that the CM team developed was an app that we pushed out to operations, maintenance, and engineering so that we can communicate in a way that's not always an email, because a lot of people aren't sitting at their desks and able to push this information. So we've got information about traffic impacts, those come straight out, but they also talk about outages or process related information that operations needs to know before it happens. And they have the latest site utilization plan. So this is our site, and the colors indicate the project and then the laydown given to any particular project. And you'll see that there's not one square foot available for anybody anywhere, but everybody likes, but everybody's a lot of stuff, including us. So it's important that we utilize this map to get people to move things when they put things in the wrong space, and we're appropriately identifying where people's things belong. So that's a lot of the reason why we've had to stagger these projects, because we just can't bring more people in and there's no place to set up. So in any case, this is my last slide, but then the CM team also does things not at the site. So they're responsible for the pre-construction design reviews, value engineering. They assist us during the bidding, cost estimating, claims evaluation, and very important commissioning and startup. So we are working with Michael Baker now. Their original service authorization was for 5 years with a 5-year option. Obviously, we knew that the plan expansion would be not just 5 years. So we wrote it in that way, and we're working with them now and look forward to coming to the board soon with a recommendation. So with that, that's the plan expansion update. Happy to take any questions.
Okay, are there any questions for Ms. Kennedy? Okay, hearing none, let's move on to the next item. This is the report of actions by the executive director and approval of construction change orders within the contingency, including the board approval at the time of contract award, as authorized by resolution number 2022-3-4, as represented in Exhibit C. Executive Director's Buildings.
Madam Chair. This change order deals with something that I didn't even know existed, a short circuit study. The contractor commissioned a short circuit study. The results of that indicated that they needed to switch from non-fused to fused devices. I like that. It's kind of like ALCOSAN people. This change is a combination of upgrading to fused, but there's a credit for the unfused or non-fused. I'm sure Douglas could talk about it ever, but that's enough to report today. Thank you.
Okay. Non-fused to fused style disconnect switches.
There There you go. Disconnects. with-
Motion to accept the change.
No, it's just,
Motion needed on that?
just making sure you know that we're moving from non-fused to fused style. All right. Okay.
Darren's ready for the action.
He's ready to do some stuff. All right. Okay, we're getting there. Hold your horses. All right, we're gonna move to action items. There we go. Now we're cooking.
Felt that, I felt that across the table.
All right, so, action item A, first I need someone to approve, a motion to approve the minutes from our last board meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Sylvia. Motion has passed. The second item, item B, consider authorizing payment of invoices in excess of $20,100 processed during the period of April 15, 2023 to May 8, 2023, and review the summary report of expenses in excess of $10,900 processed during the same period as represented in attached exhibit D. Is there any explanation on this?
If there are questions about specific invoices, we'll respond.
Okay,
Or I could explain each invoice. Darren?
Not this money.
Thank you.
all right, are there any questions? No, okay, hearing none. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, motion carried. Item C, motion to award the following contract number 1786, emergency sewer televising 2023-24 to Jet Jack Incorporated at the price of $546,750. Bids received are indicated on exhibit E.
Madam Chair, it is as indicated, this is a service for emergency televising, which is actually a little more than that. So televising, pointing, a bit more. It's an annual contract. You can see it was previously awarded in December of 21. There was a little more activity associated with it than that explains the difference in what we paid for the previous contract and the bids that you see today.
Any questions?
It's like some great TV.
All right. Can I get a motion, please? Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, there we go. All right, motion carries. Item E, motion to approve the following change orders that exceed $30,000 in value or whose cumulative total value with previously approved.
I think you skipped.
Did I
interrupt?
Oh, did I circle that and skip it? Back up one. D, motion to authorize the preparation of specifications and advertisement for bids for the following contracts. F, I'm glad you were looking at that. I circled it and moved on. Sorry,
Well,
contract
actually,
number
I have to
1791.
Douglas, he was waiting to explain. That energy was jumping across.
Well,
the table.
let me read the title then, so we can
Please.
be properly prepared. Dewatering centrifuge equipment pre-purchase. Douglas.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Before I go and explain what this contract is, I would like to take a moment to, on behalf of my staff and myself, personally thank the Director of Engineering and Construction for making a complete mess of our pristine treatment plant. We only hope that you leave it in a better condition and so put that to the record. The majority of the activities within the treatment plant thus far, and Kim alluded to it, are, we call it on the liquid portion of the treatment plant. It's all the numbers of 250 million gallons per day, 480 million gallons per day, 600 million gallons per day ultimately, and that will forever change how we deal with flows here at the treatment plant. And that solely is on the liquid treatment side. While those flows will go to those very high numbers, there is a component of the wastewater process, about 110,000 tons per year of some pollution that's in that wastewater that's in those tanks right out there, that when we've accumulated enough, we have to do things with it. The things that we do with it is we send it through a centrifuge. We add a polymer, we bind it together, and ultimately off of those centrifuges is where the 110,000 tons per year of some material has to be disposed of. The product that comes off of the centrifuges is dewatered cake. Ultimately, some of that becomes a biosolid. And other parts of it get incinerated. So even though the plant capacity is going to more than double, our future needs for solids handling really won't increase all that much, but we will have to change how we manage solids. So as part of that job, there are replacement centrifuges and possible additional centrifuges that will be needed to manage the solids as part of the overall plant expansion. I believe in Kim's presentation, it was package 6, and it might have been the orange area. In December of last year, the board approved service authorization for CDM Smith to do the design of the solids thickening and the watering improvements project. Part of that is the installation of these centrifuges that will replace centrifuges that we have in place that are over 20 years old. But it will also give us the flexibility to ensure permit compliance going forward of all the solids we have to manage. It is unique that we do a pre-purchase. We don't do it very often. In this circumstance, we're doing it as much for timing of meeting consent decree milestones. The end of 2025, which is coming quickly, we have to be in a position to handle 480 million gallons of flow and know what we're doing with all of our solids. With these centrifuges having such large lead times and with the design lagging behind, we will be purchasing them in advance for what our needs are so that the construction contract can do the installation of them and meet all of those deadlines. So this contract is the pre-purchase of replacement centrifuges with the possibility of adding additional thickening centrifuges as we go through pilot project work with Camp Dresser and McKee. Have any questions? I'll be glad to answer them.
Thank you. And that was, of course, explained to us during the session that we had earlier in the week. Are there any questions? Okay. Hearing none. We get a motion?
Motion to authorize. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, we're going to move on to item E. Motion to approve the following change orders that exceed $30,000 in value or whose cumulative total value with previously approved change orders is greater than 5% of the original contract amount. Exhibit G. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the first change, contract 1726. 1726 is one you have heard about. Once Mike starts talking, you'll say, that one. You'll notice finally it is being wrapped up. We're happy. Sandcastle is happy. Mike, please.
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm glad to report we're done out at Sandcastle. This has been a kind of an arduous process with a sewer break and getting through this process with a culvert repair and a pipe repair. then final restoration, get it done prior to Sandcastle's start date. We've been, unfortunately, we're very happy that we're done with this project. Just to brief the board, this is, as you probably recall, this was the original concept for the project, over a mile lining it started out as. A bunch of lining with connector pipes. Started out as a very good project, and we ran into some issues over here about last year, about mid-year. So original contract value was about 9.3 million. This is, again, as you've probably seen before, pictures of the break, the problems we started having, quite significant. We had to get in there and do not only pipe repairs, we had to do foundation repairs, we had to do bypass pumping, and we had to do a culvert repair in addition. So this was quite a large endeavor by the time it was all said and done. This is just a picture. I think we had this opened up late last year. I think someone said it was like open heart surgery. It was literally open heart surgery on this sewer line. So this was a photo at the end of last year. I talked briefly earlier about the pre-fabricated culvert section. I'm going to show a few slides coming up. This is a prefab section. It comes in pieces. Contact, they manufacture these. They do all kinds of culvert solutions for not only this type of application, but PennDOT and other highway departments. So it's quite a common application. I know it looks a little flimsy as it's going on, but I assure you it's not. It has loading characteristics similar to that of a parking garage. So when it's all bolted together and finished up, it's quite strong. This is another photo here. You can see it along the base. They're getting ready to concrete this in and bolt everything together. So we were very happy how this thing married up with the existing culvert. And I'll show you a few slides here how we did the transitions. This is all rebar and mesh was placed up along here, just between the existing culvert and the new pipe, the new culvert sections. And they sprayed it with gunite, which is basically sprayed on concrete, has a very high strength associated with it. You're going to see this a lot on the Ohio River Tunnel used by contractors. It's pretty high strength stuff, and it bonds very well. So this is kind of what it looks like when it's all finished up. Okay, after we're finished with the installation, you can see the transitions here, the gunite transitions on the interior and exterior. We had a backfill with stone after completing the culvert and get that all buttoned up. And then this is what the site looks like today. It's all nicely dressed up. Another photo here. We addressed some of the erosion issues that were going on here with the culvert and provided for more stream stabilization up in that area. So it was quite a successful project. When it was all said and done, we were quite disturbed and it was a lot of upheaval, last fall, but it finally turned out in a very good way. This is just a final cost summary. We had about $3.6 million in total additions. About, if you recall, about 600,000 of this was just the bypass pumping alone. And we had about $1.2 million in deductions. Some of this was some of the debris removal during the cleaning process of the original interceptor. There was some root cutting that wasn't used, and there's some other items. the main item, the work used was some epoxy lining of some of the manholes. After lengthy discussion with the marine contractor, Marion Hill, they assured us that, you know, they installed the access ports, pretty watertight, and the epoxy lining wasn't needed, and we agreed. I think they did a very good job at installing the access ports. They're pretty well encased in concrete, and we just need to use the epoxy lining. So with that, the net change order is about 2.5 million. The base contract 9.3, final value 11.8 million. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you might have.
And please note, this particular change is a credit.
Right.
So at the end of the day, good job done by all, and we're bringing you the detail. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Yes.
Second.
Seconds, all in favor? Motion carries. All right, so that was number 2.
What is number one?
That was number 1.
Yes.
Okay, now we're on the second one.
Number 2 is number 9 under contract 1720.
I have to tell you that I kind of got stuck when you said gunite, because I have been wondering how to pronounce that. I was like, you know, like Rianidi, I'm like, unite, you know, I was like, but yes, gunite, thank you. So I have to tell you, I did get stuck there, but I'm able to. All right, number 9, under contract 1728G, return activated sludge, pipe and pump replacement.
Madam Chair, this addition is for temporary scaffolding and steel that needed to be added to repair, I believe it's the west side stations. Yes, west side pump stations. No presentation.
No presentation. Are there any questions on this one? A motion to approve? Motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Number 3, number 7, under contract 1729G, East Headworks from PJ Dick Incorporated in the amount of $347,543.
Madam Chair, because the Director of Engineering Construction is doing such a wonderful job presenting today, and pretty much aggravating the Director of Operations. Let's keep it going.
All right. So like I always say, Headworks is what we all get to see every time we come to the plant. And it's really rapidly changing. We just got this updated drone imagery today, actually, or it was just posted yesterday. So we are here in the boardroom. These will be our bar screens. These are grit tanks, and then this is the channel that'll take everything to the primary tanks. But what I'd like to make sure you see here is this 120-inch influent conduit. That's really, this is normally a very busy road for internal of the plant, it's shut down for a long time. So one piece of the change order has to do with obstruction on that road, but the flow will come from the new pump station and the existing pump station down the road and then turn and go into the new center. So I thought that drone imagery was pretty nice to show, where we're at. So this change order, so this change order, number 7, for the general contractor, which DJ did, is for a total of $347,543. Of the 8 separate post change orders that make up this one is 2 credits and 6 additions. The credits have to do with, in our utility pipe tunnel, they suggested and we accepted even the section of additional of our pipe in place. It didn't need to be moved, so that there was a non-performance of some utility rerouting and one less outage. And then there was also credit, they suggested a different coating system for the basement of the East Hydrix building, and we accepted it. It doesn't change the amount of protection that we're going to get, but there was less cost involved. And then some of the costs included in this change order were for some additional sub costs associated with the subgrade improvements and those obstructions that they ran into when they were drilling the piles, which we've talked about. Then there's a cost to route the water line that is in that 120-inch opening, which obviously was not easy to do. We had to upsize some pipes in the tunnel to match our existing diameters, and then we improved the odor control recirc pump. There was a water line that was damaged and they fixed it for us as part of this. And then last but not least, the 8 PCO associated with this change order is an additional 52 days for the time extension required for some of this additional slower work that they were anticipated. So that's all of the components of the change order. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 4, and number 5, final under contract 1735E, ALCOSAN parking garage from Gronder Technical Services.
Madam Chair, this change and the next change are relative to the parking garage that Kim had indicated is complete. As you can see, and sometimes you can't tell from the outside, but it is complete. This change is for the electrical, the next change is for the general, and she will walk you through. We will vote on them both separately.
Oh, separately. Okay.
Thank you.
So the parking garage, if you remember from my first presentation tonight, is one of the projects that is completed. And I will say that we're very happy with the parking garage. This is the look from Preble Avenue, and then this is the look at the parking garage from inside the plant. We opened the parking garage to our union staff in November of 2022, and we've gotten a lot of nice compliments about it, and we look forward to using it for many, many years to come. There was some issues with supply chain that we encountered during the construction phase of the parking garage, and we encountered them kind of early in 2021 with the material shown here in this photo. This is called geofoam, and geofoam, the parking garage was designed with geofoam to supplement some of the concrete in the parking decking. It's very common product, and would have been no problem without the pandemic and then some pretty unique weather events in Texas, where most of it's manufactured in the summer of 2021. So that caused about a 6-month delay in procuring the equipment, which made the project go about 6 months longer. There were some additional, this is just additional change order items that we cleaned up with this with respect to the final change order and closing out the parking garage associated with the general contract. And that was some painting and some adjustments of final unit price work And some things that we had to do with, once the city code inspectors came out, they had some recommendations that we implemented. So all in all, the change order for Light Coast Construction, that's the general contractor, is $834,000. And then the change order for the electrical contractor, which is Bronder, is $225,000. And we feel like these are fair numbers that were negotiated carefully with the contractor to take into consideration the supply chain issues that they dealt with. If you had any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, and also for that thorough pre-explanation that we heard in the executive session. So let's take a look at number 5. This is the Bronter Technical Services Contract. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then moving on to number 7, this is the Mike Coates Construction Company contract. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, number 4, under contract 1739E, electrical distribution system upgrade from Sargent Electric Company.
Madam Chair, this is, as the description indicates, a change that will permit an automatic switching as opposed to the need for manual switching in the energy recovery. So,
Are there any questions?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item F, this motion is to award the mechanical technical training program to Community College of Allegheny County for an amount not to exceed $110,000.
Madam Chair, we are pleased to be able to bring this to the board. This will be a new service provider for us. It's in support of our in-house apprenticeship program. The Director of Operations and Maintenance will speak to it. Douglas.
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair, so as the board is aware, the authority has a program internally that provides apprenticeship training for those interested in a variety of craft positions. It is a 4-year program that the students undergo, the majority of it being on the job, but also a component of it is formal education. Our preference would be for there to be a commercially available training program and curriculum, which there is for all but one of our crafts. Our general maintenance mechanic positions are a little bit more unique than they are for most other crafts. So for the past forever, at least for this craft, we have always gone out and have solicited proposals from training providers to provide us with this custom service. In December of last year, we went through a formal RFP process, shortlisted 3 firms to receive proposals. 2 of those firms responded. 1 chose not to submit. Community College of Allegheny County, who is a provider of other training services for other crafts, was one of the proposers, and our incumbent provider was the other proposer. CCAC has been interested in providing these services to us previously, and at this point in time, they put together the best package of academic support as well as hands-on experience with some of the hands-on equipment that we already have as part of our program. So it is our curriculum, but they will be providing the training for it. It is an 18-month program that this service authorization is for. We are pleased that we were able to partner with CCAC on this, and we recommend approval.
And I move it because these are wonderful opportunities for the employees to move up. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll second.
agreed, Sylvia. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Finally, we're moving on to new business. We have no new business, okay? So that concludes the agenda. We need a move, I'm pushing to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, thank you very much. Our next meeting is June 22nd, 2023. See you then.
Thank you.